Right now, your brain is trying to do something impossible. As you watch this video, somewhere in the world, millions of people are posting photos. Millions more are sending messages, uploading videos, sharing opinions, starting arguments, breaking news, creating memes. And somehow, your brain is expected to process all of it. The strange part is that your brain still thinks you live in a small tribe, a tribe of about 150 people. And that's where our story begins. For almost all of human history, people lived in small groups. You knew everyone. You knew who was sick, who was angry, who was in love, who had children, who was dangerous. Your social world was small enough for your brain to understand. Then something happened. Human civilization exploded. Cities appeared, kingdoms emerged, empires stretched across continents. But even then, most people regularly interacted with only a few dozen individuals. Your brain never had to track thousands of relationships, and certainly not millions. Yet today, that is exactly what the internet asks it to do. In the 1990s, British anthropologist Robin Dunbar discovered something fascinating. After studying primates and human societies, he proposed that humans can comfortably maintain roughly 150 meaningful social relationships. This became known as Dunbar's number. The exact number is still debated. Some researchers believe it is higher, others believe it is lower. But almost everyone agrees on one thing. Human social capacity is limited. Your brain was built for tribes, not for platforms, not for feeds, not for millions of followers, not for audiences the size of entire nations. And yet every day, social media tricks your brain into believing it knows far more people than it actually can. Think about what happens when you open your phone. Within a few minutes, you might see a celebrity getting divorced, a friend getting married, a stranger traveling through Japan, a political scandal, a war, a scientific breakthrough, someone's vacation, someone's funeral, someone's success, someone's failure, all on the same screen. Your ancestors never experienced anything remotely like this. For them, important events happened occasionally. For us, they happen every few seconds. And the brain struggles more and more to distinguish information that truly matters from information that doesn't matter at all. Because deep down, it still treats social information as survival information. For ancient humans, knowing what was happening around them could mean the difference between life and death. Who had food, who needed help, who could be trusted, who could not. Missing important social information was dangerous. Today, the internet has hijacked that ancient system. And suddenly your brain feels responsible for keeping up with everything, even when that is impossible. This leads to what psychologists call information overload. There is simply more information available than the human brain can meaningfully process. But information overload is only part of the problem, because the internet discovered something even more powerful, something that directly exploits human attention: bad news. Psychologists have repeatedly discovered an interesting pattern. Negative information captures our attention far more effectively than positive information. In psychology, this is known as negativity bias. From an evolutionary perspective, it makes perfect sense. Ignoring good news is rarely fatal. Ignoring danger sometimes is. Our ancestors survived because they paid attention to threats. And today, social media uses exactly the same mechanism. Outrage, conflict, fear, disaster, controversy. All of it holds attention more effectively than good news. But the problem isn't just that the internet shows us threats. The problem is that it never shows us the ending. If an ancient human heard rustling in the bushes, the situation would be resolved quickly. Either the danger was real, or it wasn't. But the internet works differently. Every answer creates a new question. Every news story leads to another one. Every worry opens the door to 10 more reasons to worry. As a result, millions of people experience something all too familiar: doom scrolling. You open your phone for just a few minutes, then another story appears, then another, then another. You keep scrolling even though you're no longer enjoying it. You continue consuming information that makes you anxious, and somehow you can't stop. Why? Because the human brain is designed to seek closure. But algorithms are designed to make sure closure never arrives. The longer you search for answers, the more content you receive. The more content you receive, the stronger the feeling that you just need a little more information. That's why many people close an app after an hour and can't even remember what they were looking at. They were searching for information, but what they found was an endless stream of stimulation. And over time, something strange begins to happen. People become exhausted. Not physically, mentally. The human brain evolved over hundreds of thousands of years. The internet transformed civilization in just a few decades. Evolution simply hasn't had time to catch up. But perhaps the strangest consequence of all isn't overload. It's loneliness. Because the internet promised the exact opposite. For the first time in human history, people could instantly connect with almost anyone on Earth. Distance no longer mattered. Communication became effortless. By all logic, loneliness should have disappeared. But something unexpected happened. Many studies suggest that loneliness did not decrease. In some cases, it actually increased. How is that possible? Because connection and closeness are not the same thing. You can see thousands of people every day, read their thoughts, follow their lives, know what they ate for breakfast and where they spent their last vacation, and still feel completely alone. Your brain doesn't count followers. It counts meaningful relationships. It counts trust, shared experiences, physical presence, eye contact, real conversations. Things that existed long before smartphones. And this is where one of the strangest paradoxes of the modern age emerges. Humans have never been more connected, and at the same time, many have never felt more isolated. The internet gave us access to the entire world, but sometimes, in the process, it quietly pulls us away from the people sitting right beside us. But there is one more reason all of this matters. Your attention shapes your reality. What you repeatedly look at gradually becomes your world. If your attention is constantly fragmented, your experience of life becomes fragmented too. If your mind is always somewhere else, eventually you stop noticing where you actually are. It's important to understand, the internet is not evil. It is one of the most powerful tools humanity has ever created. It can educate, connect, inspire, spread knowledge, change lives. But the problem is that it arrived far faster than the human brain could adapt to it. And so every day, billions of people use a technology their minds were never designed for. A brain built for tribes, living in a world of billions. A brain built for conversations, immersed in endless feeds. A brain built to understand a village, trying to understand an entire planet. And perhaps that's why so many people feel overwhelmed. Not because they're broken, not because they're weak, but because the internet is asking an ancient human brain to perform a task no brain in history has ever faced before. For hundreds of thousands of years, the world around us was small enough to fit inside our minds. Today, the world fits inside our pockets, every second, every minute, every day. And perhaps one of the greatest challenges of modern life is learning which parts of that world truly deserve our attention. Because your brain was never designed for the internet. Yet every day, it tries anyway.